Textbooks. Yes. You have them in grade school. You have them in high school. And, they're rather expensive. And then you have all those extra stuff you have to have. But I was lucky when I was grade school and, high school. At that time, they basically stayed the same. The new textbooks come out, I could hand my book to other siblings as they handed me their textbooks. College was a little bit different. I was interested in photography, so by the time I really started school in photography, Columbia College, I had the books on for photography and how to make pictures. They're still making my 1,000 pictures or 2,000 or 10,000. You learn. They say you learn by your first 1,000 pictures you make, which is expensive. 36 pictures per roll, and then you have to develop the stuff. But by the time I got to class, I had the stuff on how to do it. But I learned one thing. There really wasn't much in textbooks. I became, my major was motion pictures. And there really wasn't anything. And the other stuff that I needed as production manager, I went out and bought the books on this stuff. When I went stuff on cinematography. I have the 5 C's of cinematography still from 50 years ago. And of course you get the Bible, American Screen Cinematographer's Manual. That was, that thing. And for film cameras, now it's way different. They come in 2 sets, maybe 3 sets. The latest one's 2 or 3 sets. But those are the only books I have. Now, of course, when I was doing costumes, that I needed an outside book. And makeup was the outside book. Things that were not taught in school, but as a person in theater and film, you had to go out and get the books. And you had to, basically, I went to other schools to use their bookstores. Northwestern, they have their English department, it's your theater department, like there. Loyola, DePaul. Yeah, because Columbia College didn't have any bookstores. There wasn't really any books to speak of. Some little books I had to go buy for like English class. When I had to do writing, the pamphlet they gave out, who did that? Weisenborn was a writer on that. And he recommended books. There wasn't anything. He recommended going at screenwriting books, which I did, yeah. But, today, when I got into grad school, wow, talk about expensive. I got my Merck Index, of course. I had to get that. There wasn't any books per se. It's a long time ago. I got my microscopy book. I got my other books. Yeah, went out. Yes, but at that time they cost money. Today, the average chemistry book is $250. But for me, a lot of my stuff was, I learned very simple. Instead of getting the current edition of something, you get the past edition. You go to the used bookstore, like up in Evanston, Illinois, and you go in there, you look for a past edition or a used bookstore. They may have it. And they usually do, yeah. And you get the past edition, and which is almost the same thing. Oh, it is. It is the same thing. Just new information on it, which today is really that thing. But still, you're still paying today. You're still paying $250 to $300 a thing. When I was in grad school, second time around, I took a beer making course. That book was $500. I tried to order it from Miller in Wisconsin. They wouldn't part with it, so I ordered from the library. I got it, and I got this book, and then I get a notice from some woman who says, "Oh, I want to read the book." Why would you want to read this book? She didn't want to read the book. She wanted to give her to her boyfriend. Wait a minute. Oh, no, kid. If you're not taking the class, this book doesn't do you any good. I'm taking the class. Oh, but I need that book. Why? You're not taking the class. Well, I can get the book. And I went to the librarian and says, No, I need this for a class. That's why I bought the book. Or got the good thing. Well, you have to give it up. Turned out her boyfriend was taking the same class. I said, you tell your boyfriend to go to his company and have them order the book. You can't do that. If you think I'm going to take this course, which is costing me big dollars, yeah, I was paying big dollars, for $150 a credit hour or something like that. And which the company paid for. Yes, so they bought the book. And she said, "Oh, I don't like you." Well, I'm going to pay you. You want me to run your tests, or you want me to leave them in the refrigerator? You can't do that. Oh, yeah? Don't you wish you were an analytical chemist? But, yeah, that's, $500 for the book. It's just only like that. $500. And most of the book, only a few chapters, we actually read to do for something. But then, of course, you had the supplements going. There was a beer making company up by Northeastern University, Devon or something like that. The company actually makes brewmasters. They run you through the whole coursework to do it, to be a brewmaster, because people were getting into independent brewing. All the guys up Miller Beer went to that school. Me? Oh no, I'm just learning how to make beer, which I don't drink, because I wanted to learn how to make beer, which I don't drink. Did I ever make beer? No. Did I ever do beer? No. But that's it. And the class book thing, as I said now, it's really expensive to go to school. You're not talking little books. You're talking $150, $200. And I said when I was going to school, I had an organic chemistry class, a local school, and I went to the previous edition book because they don't change that much. Okay, they rearranged the paragraph, basically the same thing, and organic chemistry. And the first test I took, it looked very familiar, so I opened my book up. Same questions. Really? Okay, I'm reading that chapter or the next chapter, and I do the questions in back, and same thing. The second test was the same questions that are in the back of the book. And I go to the teacher and I tell him, I have a question for you. You already got your third test already made up? Yeah. Yes. Out of that book that's sitting on the shelf? Out of that book. Well, see, I have that book. okay, for one of my past chemistry classes. What do you mean past chemistry classes? Well, I'm only in this stuff to do the, I'm only in the class so I can do lab work. Why did you take that book? Well, not only that book, but I told him very simple. Not only I did take that book, but I also took that yellow book. That's from 1969. And he looked at me and said, "Oh, you've been taking chemistry for a long time?" "Yes, I like lab work." Did I finish that class? No. I went to Columbia. I did that as a supplement. I don't think the only chemistry I had was photography and graphic arts, and the other chemistry I had was at Governor State University. I see. You're in American Chemical Society. Yeah, so am I. What? Yeah, but let's go back and talk about textbooks. They're very expensive. It's getting to the point now, one of the people who published a thing through another publisher, let me see, what's his name? Well, here I'm looking at an article right here. Successful academic authors like McMurray sold enough books to make a considerable income from the royalties. And what he's doing is very simple. His book costs $300. What he's did is I made some pretty things. My next book maybe is a little bit different, but he basically broke up the contract with the publisher and gave it to a nonprofit who likes publishing books. And now all the royalties will go to that the other publisher. And basically, he's giving his book away. Now, what does that mean? He's giving his book away, his royalties away. But that book comes with a DVD. So if you buy the book, you got the DVD, which is basically everything on the DVDs is the book itself. It's like a Merck Index. You buy the Merck Index, and there's a DVD inside there, okay, which basically is the whole book on the DVD. And other authors who, if they're not successful, may do the same thing, but the ones that really are successful and they're creating textbooks that you can put online. Wow. Yes, because most of the world now has, this is a big old Dell thing. It has a camera on it. The newer ones are like the Microsoft Surfaces, which are that thick, or the HP, or like the Dells here, little notebooks, which has a terabyte of memory on it, RAM. It says, yeah, sure. I've seen them with a terabyte of RAM. That stores a lot of information. When I was going to school, there was a guy, I bought the little 1.44 megabyte disc from, and it listed a book on it. Not in color, black and white, and everything. And I bought a couple of those from him. Instead of going out and spending $75 for a chemistry book, he did this. He photocopied the whole works, put them on a 1 point that thing, And literally speaking, that's, of course, at that time, when taking that chemistry, laptops were big, heavy things with big batteries and that thing. Not like now, which everything is a smartphone, as a laptop. But at that time, yeah, and you'll get that thing, which saves, if he's selling it for $25 for a book, instead of paying $150 a book, you better know it. Hey, I'm cheap. And I didn't go to the schools that were the big expensive schools. I went to the cheaper state universities. But still, I'm going to spend $150 if I take up 2 or 3 classes. Great, I just spent $150. I can return the book or I can leave it on my shelf. Now over there is a bunch of chemistry books, a text and that. And they're old. Are they anyway? If they're up to that year, then I think there's some 2000 or something like that. They cost $150, $200, $300. They're past editions. And what's the difference? The newer editions has a little more. They may have a little more pictures in it, or they may have audio and video in there, which is nice. Seeing some of the stuff that's out there now. Oh, if I was to take chemistry courses, I would buy that stuff. It's something like, I give you examples like doing my motion pictures. I started with Super VHS and Super VHS. Yeah, there's different cameras. And then I had the Canon XLs. Yes. And to me, I have to buy, if I'm taking up a chemistry course, I have to have a lot of other chemistry books for me to read before I can really understand something. Because it's never registered. So I want it from different angles. But I like going out and spending $300 for a chemistry book. Today, when you have, you take a freshman course, I look at this stuff, state freshman courses, they're $20,000 a year. Then they're going up. And then, of course, you sit there with a $250 book, and this book, and $250 in that book. You're spending a couple $1,000s in books. Yeah, just so you can either turn it back in or that thing. But at the same time, I can go on YouTube and see a dozen different instructors telling me the same thing. So, yeah. So you take a course in school in chemistry, and you're going to do the thing, maybe videotape it. But at the same time, you can see the book online, which I think is amazing. If I wanted to take a course in okay, I'm going to the local junior college and paying $20,000 a year to do that, but I want to go look online all the other YouTubes and professors. Wow, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to take this book and go online and teach this course. Thank you. I like it. Thank you. Put it on YouTube. I'm just downloading my computer. And, we got a little program here to say download YouTube program. Yeah. I used to videotape all this stuff. Yeah. Right. And you play it back had to be, Now, if you can transfer all this stuff to a I did buy a smartphone. Yeah. I did buy a smartphone. I can download everything into this stuff. This stuff has gigabytes of storage. Oh, boy, hey, you can do video for a half hour. I don't want to do video. I want to do something like YouTube so I can learn my classes, which is, I went to a school. I took a chemistry course, and I was there with another guy, and he had a not a smartphone, but a smart calculator. And I can't say he put directly the correct answers from the chapter with it that we did, but he used to get good grades just by that thing, because he would sit there with his calculator. I don't think the instructor knew what kind of calculator. You know, he had the latest one, little screen and all that information. He says, "Yeah, you should get one of these." Oh yeah, you can get all this stuff. And I says, "I'm not taking this class for credit, so it really doesn't make any difference." Back to the teacher with the organic book. Yeah, he was very surprised is that I told him, "Yeah, this is your test out of here. Don't do it. If I know about it, maybe other students know about it too." Gonna say anything? No. I should have said something to a girl who was taking the course. I should have said something to her. I would have, but she quit the course, which was too bad. Oh, God. I could have given her all the answers to all the quizzes. But I told the professor he has to change that stuff, and he did. He said, "Thank you." I says, "Yeah, well, I'm not here for credit. I'm here for labs, so." But that thing, well, world's changing. I would think a lot of publishers who publish can find that their coursework is on YouTube. Yeah, things are changing, and more companies are putting out technology on YouTube. It's good advertisement. At the American Chemical Society meeting in the fall 2022 in Chicago, to look at some of this stuff, and they had, as one of the seller of books, also had this DVDs. I asked them, "Is this book in that DVD?" He says, "Yes." "So why not just buy the DVD?" We want you to buy the book, then you have the DVD for everything outside. Oh, because the DVD contains more than a book. Is this the type of DVD that I can make copies out of it? That's against the law. Weren't you a student? You should put the, do you have the same thing Walt Disney has where you can't copy their, some people have a extra stopping of being able to copy. You can't copy it. You can play it, but you can't copy it. It's, in most computers right now, will prevent me from copying well, this doesn't have a drive here, does it? Oh, it does. You know, to prevent you from copying, because I was given from a company older motion pictures, and they were copying them for airplanes. So that was like you need a special player, which is like area 000 that to play back. Yeah. You couldn't play it back on anything else, so they wouldn't work. I guess that's coding. But again, you know, everything is being transferred to that thing, and you've got people instead of going out and spending $250 for a book, they go out and copy the book to their smartphone. And why that's against the law? Sure is. I can tell you some at another time. Sure is. It's against the law. Well, that's my thing on textbooks. I ramble quite a bit. For 25 minutes, wow.